Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I have an exciting video planned for you today. First off, I have this daily planetary guide, and I actually have an extra one because I had gotten one and then someone gave me one. So, I'm going to offer to a giveaway of this. It's a daily calendar with all the aspects, and it also gives you a year in review. And I thought it was a very interesting year in review this year. And I just wanted to, it gives us an idea in general of 2026, looking at the outer planets, goes through all the planets, all the signs, and the houses, and the aspects, and the retrogrades. Where's the general? There's a general right up here. No, I seem to have lost the page. It'll come up. It'll come up. Oh, here it is. Okay. Overview of 2026. Now, this is very interesting because it says here it goes over Pluto, the Pluto return in the US natal charts. So, Pluto was in the sign of Capricorn, where the planet resided at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Much of the Revolutionary War and the final defeat of the British occurred while Pluto was in Aquarius. And so, what we're seeing here is that Pluto started its current trip through Aquarius in November of 2024, meaning we are currently in the first Pluto return of the US Revolutionary War. So I found that very interesting that Pluto has finally returned in the US chart to Aquarius. The last time it was there was the Revolutionary War, where we defeated the British. And just looking at that, in looking at the censorship, Imran Ahmed, James Holt, Prince Harry, and what he's been doing here. And we see now with what's going on with censorship in the UK in general, how crazy it's been. Hi, Judy. How are you? And you see how the US government is responding to the UK. Like, you're no longer an ally. I don't know. We don't know what happened to you, but it's over, right? As Yuval Harari famously, the little demon that he is, told everybody, it's over. It's over. It's like, so I find it interesting that here we are, revolutionary times again, where we're defeating the British again. We're like, oh, we're taking you out. We did it once before. We're doing it again. And it's because Pluto's in Aquarius again. And that's the backdrop for 2026. It's been going on since November 2024, but it's heating up now. And then it goes on. Now, Saturn is going into Aries in February, and Neptune will also be in Aries. Now, that Saturn goes into Aries every 30 years. Saturn return, as many people know about, occurs when you're 29, 30 years of age. And it's usually when you change your life and become an adult and finally decide what you're doing with the rest of your life, etc. To make some people usually make big changes, job changes, get married, have a child. Some big life changes around that time. Well, the problem is Neptune and Saturn will be conjoining each other this year. Let me see what the dates are. Well, they'll both be there all year. So Saturn, Aries, Neptune, and Aries. Now, Neptune is the planet of deception, drugs, movies, fantasy, altered reality, kind of like the internet. Can be that way. The imagination, escapism. It can be isolation. It can be fears. So Saturn and Neptune together, in a positive way, it could be building structures that are spiritual, about the unconscious, things with water. Neptune rules water, as well as any kind of liquids. So it can be a positive, but it can also be negative, because Neptune and Saturn together can cause hysteria, paranoia, fears. And this would be just like a general idea going on. Now, Aries Saturn is, of course, fallen in Aries, which is going to act badly. Whereas Neptune is neither fallen or not, but it's not the best place for it anyhow. It was in Pisces; it was where it ruled. But the point is, Aries. You could look at Aries as initiating new things. It's an aggressive sign. It's ruled by Mars, god of war. And Aries also, the part of the body that Aries rules is the head. So I found that interesting as well, that we're in what some would call, and if you look at my Odyssey channel with the Omni War, where the people are talking, like Dr. David Hughes and others, about the war for your mind. There's a war going on for people's minds and affecting people's minds. And it's a war of deception, of psyops like Harry and Meghan, and a war of getting people to react a certain way, to think and believe a certain way, to get people hysterical about climate change and whatever latest topic is. This is all part of like a war on people's minds. And this is, I think, shown by Saturn and Neptune, particularly in Aries. So I think that's going to heat up this year. And you can see it already in the news. They talk about it in the Omni War podcast about all these weapons of attacking people's minds that they have, like from the Havana syndrome was an attack, and also how allegedly with nanotechnology they can go into your minds and other, affecting people's minds through all outside, and also with psyops, right? And this whole idea of attacking people's rights and imprisoning them because of thought crimes, right? You hear about they want to have pre-crimes where if you think the wrong thing, right, you go to jail. Well, I think this is going to heat up this year, is the bottom line, with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And I also think that it's going to be very deceptive with Neptune. It's going to be very unconscious. It's like subliminally influencing people overtly. At the way that the globalists are trying to nudge everybody, you hear about that nudging, right? It's the same type of idea. It's like they're trying to influence people without them knowing they're being influenced, very subconsciously, unconsciously. And I'm seeing a lot of another facet of this is the news stories that are always violent, because they want people to believe that everyone's violent and it's all violent out there. You can't trust other humans. You've got to trust daddy government. Daddy government will protect you, right? So that's why they're always putting the most violent, nasty things in the news. Well, now we're seeing a lot of demoralization, in my opinion, where we're seeing a lot of news come out of citizens being oppressed, particularly conservatives, people who love their country. They're being, shocked with stories of immigrants coming in and doing horrific things and fraud and child trafficking and everything. They're literally revving things up. They want people who love their country to really act up and act out, and so they can arrest them, is my opinion. But you can see the manipulations going on with the news, like what they're coming out with to shock and horrify people and upset them, and to make them feel helpless. Like you can't do anything about it, and the government's just going to keep forcing you to do this and be censored and take your digital ID and this and that. That's what they want, because they want you to feel like you can't do anything about it. So that's all part of this war for the mind. And I'm seeing that I'm concerned this year we're going to see more of that with Saturn and Neptune and Aries affecting people's minds. Weapons of war, Aries war, fighting, attack. So be very skeptical of everything you see and hear, particularly AI is doing this now. I mean, you can't trust any videos. You'd be very suspicious of any pictures. You just can't trust anything online. You can be very skeptical, so it's going to be very tricky. They're very good at it. So that's just some of the things written in here. So you've got a whole write up for every week into the year in this, as well as the calendar. So I'm going to have a giveaway if anyone's interested in this. And I think how I'll do it, I have a question. I'm going to ask a question, and the first person who emails me, shall we try this? I don't know. We'll see if people are interested in this or not. I don't know. Maybe nobody's interested. If you're not interested, that's fine. But if you send me an email, and I'll type it in right now so you can see it. Let's see, Daily Empress Tarot at protonmail.com. All right, so you have to answer a question. The first person, oh, it's too big. First person, Judy, the first person who answers this question correctly um, will get the calendar. And I just typed that wrong, didn't I? Whatever, protonmail.com. Let me see, it's still too big. There we go. Okay, now I got it. All right, so the first person who emails the answer to this question I'm about to ask. And the question is, are you ready? Drum roll, please. Right here. Which one of Meghan's relatives wrote this letter to Satan? This letter to Satan that was written by one of Meghan Markle's relatives. I want you to tell me what's the relationship and what's the relative's name who wrote this letter to Satan that says, I sold my soul to you. Obvious, I know, but I would like to negotiate one more deal since you have my soul. Can you please, 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 please make my girlfriend, Allison Nicole Moore, be my girlfriend forever and have her and I be happy with each other? Stay faithful and never be separated in any way. Please, that's all I want. So, which one of Meghan Markle's relatives, what's the relationship, and what was the relative's name that wrote this letter to Satan? The first person who emails me at dailyempresstarot.com, dailyempresstarot at protonmail.com, you will get, I will let you know you won. I'll say you're the winner and then send me your address and I will mail out this beautiful 2026 planetary calendar to you. So forget this. What's the relationship and what's the name of this person, Meghan Markle relative that sold their soul to Satan? There you have it. All right, so there's that. I hope you good luck to the winner. Do you find that out? I hope that's not too difficult a question. I think a lot of people have been around from the beginning like me. I remember all this stuff. So now I'm going to move on to the 2026 forecast here and see what are the globalists up to this year? What months do we have to look out for with this war for our minds? Or just in general with what they're doing? Because don't forget, globalists control the mainstream media, so they're controlling everything that all the lies they put out during COVID and now everything that goes out, they're behind everything, and they have their social scientists all about controlling a society. What are they going to be doing this year? What are they going? What are the worst months of the year going to be? Where they're going to be pulling their tricks, playing with our minds, particularly on the internets, the social medias, the interwebs. So where are they? How are they going to be? What are the globalists going to be up to this year? Let's find out. What can we expect in 2026 from the globalists? What they're doing. They're also gleeful. They have a communist running New York City now. Ugh. All this demoralizing. They're just loving it. They're just loving it. They're all gleeful, taunting everybody with it in the country. It's unbelievable. Demoralizing. Let's see here. Let's look at the year ahead. What the globalists are going to be up to. Let's see what the cards show. All right, so I'm looking month to month, starting in January. Ooh, lovers reversed. Oh yeah, they really want to horrify people. And there's a separation here. This could be a lot of talk this month about a certain couple that nobody wants around anymore. It's going to be leaving. Separation here now. I think of Harry and Meghan, but I mean, it could be something else separating here as well. Major Arcana, I do see some big news of a separation, but also causing pain and suffering. And in this particular lovers, you've got the Garden of Eden with the snake. You see the snake over there, sneaky snake, which are the satanic globalists, in my opinion, and it's on the top of the card. So they're kicking into high gear and with the suffering that they want to cause, particularly in, for my opinion, fertility and with couples. February, Ooh, what's this? February is Two of Wands. Two of Wands. So making plans in February here. And of course, we have a big old globe here with the person watching. This is like the globalists watching everyone on the internet, watching a lot of surveillance going on in February, a lot of making plans in February, meeting and discussing next steps and how things have been going. I see happening here, but it's a minor arcana. So February looks to be relatively quiet. They're going to be watching and seeing responses because, the globalists put things out, but they don't know how people are going to respond. So they're always testing us. Like, put on a mask, and they wait and see if people will put on a mask. And if they don't, then they try something else. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Happy New Year. Hi, Good Ship Lollipop. Good to see you. Yeah. So that's February. So January, February. And then in March, oh my, March is looking ugly. Beware the Ides of March. I see something ending here, something suddenly ending, essentially violently ending. I see a lot of attacking, perhaps of speech with the swords, or just defaming and trying to destroy. You know how they like canceling people and destroying people's lives? So I see something ending here in March, an abrupt ending of something going on. January, February, March, April. In April, I get 8 of Coins reversed. Interesting. So I see work secretively, working behind the scenes, bringing that midnight oil on something, or just, not getting enough work done. Things not working out as they'd like here, things collapsing, things not struggling with work, finances and health matters as well, things not working out. That's April. And then in May, I get 6 of Wands, a victory of some sort, or a showing off here, performance, um, pretending to be a hero, trying to portray themselves. A lot of the globalist controlled opposition, they portray themselves as being heroes. So I see some kind of in May portraying something as big and wonderful and just all going great, and maybe getting actual credit for something and putting themselves on a pedestal. Globalists like to give themselves awards all the time, like Harry and Meghan. They're always getting an award for something. Like Harry, who's not even a pilot, gets an award in aviation. You know what I mean? So these globalists are the same way. They're always giving themselves Nobel Prizes or awards when they didn't deserve it. They do nothing. It's all just for show. Oh my goodness. And June, oh my goodness, June, 8 of Swords. Oh, I see. Maybe in June they're going to be heating up with imprisoning people and locking people out, platforming people, silencing people. I see a lot of subjugation here. I mean, this person's got a red ribbon. That red ribbon is like the what the Satanists use, the Kabbalah ribbon there, and they've got it wrapped around subjugating this woman, this person. So I see in June, the globalists are going to be trying to arrest more people, trying to restrain people more, trying to silence them. Yeah, trying to confine people more with their government, overreach. Yeah, they buy the awards themselves. Exactly. That's all what they all do. Just so they can have for the PR. It's all about the PR for them because they know it's all about what's on the internet, what's in the news, and they know everybody's going to read it. That's what they control. That's how they control your perception of them. Make themselves seem greater than they are when they're nothing. Make themselves seem like they can do more than they can do, right? So there's January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay, going to July. Uh-oh. July. I'm getting death. Look out in July. I think that they might be pulling another mass death somehow, or an attack here, big attack, killing a lot, doing something extreme. ending something permanently here. So July looks like a very ugly month, a deadly month. Maybe they'll release another a bioweapon or something else, but they want to kill as many people as possible, right? So I'm getting July. It looks really ugly. They're going to do something horrible here. They're going to be doing an ending here, killing off, destroying. And then in August, oh my goodness, the world reversed. So following that, I've got the world reversed, which of course is going to be turning things upside down around the world and the internet possibly, or just something here that's going to continue from, I think, from this July event into August. It's going to continue causing, global, worldwide problems here, disharmony, friction, fighting, and you know, trying to destroy everything to bring in their new world order. So that in September, Ace of Cups. Moving on. So I kind of, when I first thought this was the Lotus, which is like rebirth of some sort. So looks like in September, things is a recharging here, restarting of something, or a remaking of it in a new way, in a positive way, and moving on. Oh, excuse me, this is Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. But still, same thing. The sort of renewing something new with an ace, and something inspirational, spiritual, very positive here, uplifting in September. So after 2 very difficult months, September looks much better, new beginnings, and people being happier. Then in October, ooh, the Emperor. So in October, I see some positive development with governments and rulers that is going to just set things straight here in a positive way. Could be a new government, but if we have to take out the old, bring in the new, you could see this as a revolutionary time with Pluto and Aquarius. This could be the death in July of the, Imran Ahmeds and Jory Craigs and other CCDH types. This could be talking about the end of them, and then new government regulations against them for people. So this could be a very positive thing for us in the end, with a new renewed form of law and order here. And then November. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. They're Satanists. I'm telling you, they're Satanists. They're really. All right. So I think that we're going to be getting rid of them and destroying a lot of what they've done. They're going to wreak havoc around the world. We're going to be setting things straight. And then November, they're going to pull something really evil and do their satanic ceremonies and pull their sorcery and whatnot, their pharmakia. And then in December, ooh, Ace the Magician. And then in December, things turn around and become, people act on their own and in a positive way, make a difference in fighting back against that, I think, potentially. Or it's just something new and enforcing the will in December. Using, what I think of when I see this, I think of that, Men in Black, when they hold up the stick and say, look at the stick, and it goes, and it erases your memory. And by the way, speaking of war for the mind with Saturn and Neptune and Aries, there's been a lot of talk on the internet now. People, Ariana Grande and others, who seem to be having their memories erased. And if you watch the Omni War that I have up from David Hughes on Odyssey, they talk about that the military has weaponry and nanotechnology and whatnot. James Giordano talked about, but they can erase your memories. It's a real thing. They can do things. And I think the World Economic Forum spoke about this as well, because they spoke about how they can read brain waves. Although I think they're stretching it there from what I understand from the actual could actually do. But they did talk about erasing people's memories, and apparently they can do that. And so there's been a lot of talk about that. And Ariana Grande came out recently and said, "Oh, I had my memory erased at this clinic. Yeah, so I'm having trouble remembering." There's a lot of stuff. You beware. There's a lot of stuff going on like that, and it's being weaponized against us by the globalists. They're using this is very dangerous. They're keeping it hidden. Their latest technology, they don't release it to the public, so the public doesn't know how advanced it is right now. But apparently, it is that advanced. And I kind of see this in December, getting more, um, either people more aware of it or it being more actively used by the evil satanic globalists here in November, December. So getting a lot of ugly cards this year, unfortunately, but fortunately, it could be ugly cards against them. So it's battle of good and evil is continuing here for sure, with the devil, with the death, with the Ten of Swords. But it does at the same time look like they're on their back footing. The globalists have not accomplished everything that they intended to, and they're starting off the year with a lot of separation. The group separating. I think their groups, their people in there are not getting the support they once got. They're falling apart a little bit, but I do think they're replanning it in February, ending something in March, dealing with some scandals against themselves, but then in April, they work secretively. Into May, they pretend like they have this victory that they don't have, or they put themselves up on a pedestal and they don't belong. And in June, I see them pressing more people, censoring, debanking, that kind of thing. But in July is when I see something really, ending here. Now, this could be the globalists, like I said, but they're going to make sure in August things are rocked around the world and upside down until September, when we get a new beginning here, people feeling much more positive and euphoric. In October, more stability and new governments, perhaps, or new governments, not mandates, but laws or whatnot, structures that correct things. And in response to that, I do see the globalists using their extra satanic, uh, demonic, possessed demons like Harry and Meghan to wreak revenge in November of next year. And it's the end of the year, trying to exert their power, even more. They can't stand the idea of losing power, these globalists. They can't stand it. Any threat to their power, they overreact and want to just kill everybody. So look out. They're feeling threatened this year, and they're going to be using the internet. I get the internet again and again, online, in the media, and with psyops like Harry and Meghan, like I said. And again, it's the war for the mind. So that's where a lot of this kind of messing around with people's minds and etc. So look out. They are deadly this year, evil AF as ever, and not stopping. Yes. So there you have it. So again, the months to look out for after this month, Major Arcana, is going to be July, August, October, November, December. Those are going to be the pivotal months, it looks like, for globalist activities. Yes. All right, so there you have it. So thank you all for being here. I hope somebody figures out the answer. I know somebody out there is going to know it. If not, you could look it up. But I hope thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And take care, everyone. Bye bye.